All right, so I just finished streaming playing this Comboless ramp Druid. This came from HDA. He's sort of hinted at this before, saying that he had this Comboless Druid that he'd been doing very, very well with. I really wanted to highlight it. I had a lot of success with it here on the first day of the season, climbing, and his numbers, well, they speak for themselves. So a lot of times, I think people bring out, well, this has got such and such a win rate in my 30, 40, 50 game sample. He's put in over 1,000 games. Let me just bring this over here. You can get a nice picture. It's a little too small. Nice picture of the class breakdown. 1,059 games, a 62% win rate, and back-to-back rank 1 legend finishes. It's crazy. It's a nice mix, right? You're seeing a good amount of rogue, some warrior, some warlock, lots of druid. Obviously, playing at very high legend, rogue and druid going to be the two most common matchups that you're going to have. But seems to just do well into a pretty standard slice of the meta. Of course, even 1,000 games, it's not going to be a perfect sample size. You wish you could get tens of thousands. But I really, really have to, commend HDA, first of all, for how well he did with the deck. But yeah, actually being able to say, 62%, that's quite good with 1,000 game sample size. So a few notable possible changes to make to the deck if you're not rank 1 legend like he is. His advice is to cut Sylvanas if you don't face too many druids. He says cut it for a second Farseer or a second Sunwalker or one Ooze if you want to piss people off. That's kind of the advice there. And he goes on to say, don't question the Harrison and double BGH, which I think a lot of people shy away from in Druid, right? Those tech cards. Going to be very good against Handlock. Harrison, very good against your warriors or rogues. But like he points out, you've just got fewer dead cards because, well, you're not running the combo. Though you do have this single copy of Force of Nature just as a bit of removal. I was a little unsure looking at it, but in at least my small session playing today and streaming with it, I got use out of it. I think pretty much every game that I ended up having it. It's really, really nice against Zoo, right? They've got lots of 2 health minions. You're able to just sweep those off of the board. But it's also just great in tandem with whatever you're going to have on the board anyway. So sometimes you've got 1 or 2 minions on board. You can make a couple hits and just get very efficient trades with the Force of Nature. Definitely do think it includes or deserves a space in this list. But from everything else, I think it's pretty straightforward as far as ramp druid goes, right? You're generally mulliganing for your ramp. There's going to be certain matchups, of course, if you're playing something like Warrior, or if you know that somebody's got a hand lock, maybe you're happy with things like BGH. Otherwise, not a lot of obvious cards to keep. Swipe, Keeper of the Grove, good against Zoo, or anything that you know is going to be pretty aggressive, or you suspect, maybe like a Hunter or something like that. But for the most part, you're just trying to get into your mid to late game, plop down some sizable bodies, and this deck just does it with a great amount of consistency. I think something to note about Combo Druid, yes, it's good. Yes, you're going to get free wins with the combo sometimes with 14 or more damage. But here, we don't even see like a lot of additional card draw. You've got the Drakes, you've got a couple lures that are maybe drawing, maybe healing. But everything is just so high value that, there are very, very few dead draws. Maybe a BGH in a matchup where you don't need it. But like 1 or 2 dead draws usually isn't going to cost you the game. And instead, you're going to get a ton of consistency that you wouldn't get with Ramp Druid. So other than showing you the numbers, for sure, you can check out my gameplay just from the previous day if you kind of want to see somebody pilot it, although I'm not sure it's at all at the level of HDA. But really making a mark on the classic scene, doing something a bit different. And actually, I didn't really think Druid was the best class to climb to rank 1 with, although it's a little unconventional. HDA proving that you can do it. Highly, highly recommend it. Take it for a spin. It's a lot of fun, and I think you'll get some good, consistent wins.